wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. In this video, I will discuss about culture, structure, and agency. I will review and tell what I get from the material. Pierre Bourdieu is a French sociologist, the most important figure in cultural theory and cultural research today. Apart from the intellectual quality of his thoughts, which is an important factor in explaining this status, his works are also interesting and varied, which is equally important. With Bourdieu, there is something for almost everyone. 1. His work attempts to synthesize micro and macro level analysis. 2. He draws on the critical sociology of Marx and Weber, but in a non-doctrinal way. 3. He has developed both abstract theoretical models and carried out detailed intermediate distance empirical studies. 4. His empirical work across a number of fields, for example, education, and scientific disciplines, for example, anthropology and sociology. 5. It has developed a number of concepts such as field, habitus, and cultural capital, which are intellectual, attractive, and widely transferable to various fields of research. Bourdieu's early writings saw a number of theoretical influences, including functionalism, structuralism, and existentialism. Bourdieu's theory can emerge from a decade of engagement with objectivist and subjectivist social theory, having worked on both methodological and epistemological differences. He is in an unique position to develop a synthesis effort, namely through the explanation of Bourdieu's key concept. Anthony Giddens' theory of structuring is widely held to present one of the most influential attempts to overcome micro and macro divisions through an appreciation of the role of culture in social life. Meanwhile, Giddens doesn't use the word culture much. His work emphasizes the role of interpretation and meaning system in human life. Therefore, it should be considered an important intervention in the field of culture theory. His distinctive approach is well expressed in the constitution of society. Giddens argues that the action and structure models have the same weakness. He writes, if interpretive sociology is founded, as it were, on subjects imperialism, functionalism, and structuralism, propose social object imperialism. In trying to overcome these duels, he suggests that we think of structure and agency as a duality in which the two parts support one another. The theory developed by Giddens can be called Parsons or Habermas. Like Bourdieu and Giddens, Norbert Elias saw himself as a key tool for body theorizing in cultural theory. His approach is historical and tracks the way the modern self has developed over the centuries. Elias looked at manners and etiquette books from the last few centuries, paying special attention to more animal and biological functions such as eating, defecating, belching, and farting. When comparing texts from different centuries, Elias noted Note that the number of bands increased over time. In books from the Middle Age, for example, it's advisable not to put half-chewed food back in the communal pot, and not to blow one's nose into someone's clothes. In the 19th century, complex rules were imposed on how to use cutlery, how to control bodily functions, and so on. Elias also wrote about social improvement. Restriction are placed on the use of words. In medieval society, people seemed to enjoy witnessing the torture of others in wars, public educational scenes, and popular celebration. They also tend to be impulsive and light-hearted with minimal provocation. On the other hand, in today's society, violence and killings are tightly regulated and tend to occur behind closed doors. Execution and slaughterhouse are one example. Empirical work influenced by Bourdieu, Giddens, and Elias, while Bourdieu's theoretical work has not been wholeheartedly accepted. However, there is a slight possibility that he was the most successful of the three. Bourdieu influenced research: 1. Study of culture conception, 2. Study of the habitus, 3. Field studies. Meanwhile, Elias' reputation has grown since the 1996. The wall of work influenced by his theory is still far below Bourdieu's. His work has had influence in two main areas, especially in Europe. In the field of comparative and historical research, more culturally minded scholars were drawn to Elias' interest in long-term change. Representative research used detailed historical to explore questions around topics such as punishment for sexuality, exercise, death, and modesty. Scholars interested in the sociology of emotional now also recognize Elias as a major pioneer in his field. It saw the way that control over emotional is central to contemporary work life. Giddens' influence was also mixed. Although he is considered by many to be a figure for the discipline, his ideas seem to have generated theoretical debates that are more abstract than empirical application. This is consistent with his own view that structuration isn't a theory, but more than a sensitive set of concept to guide inquiry. Application may tend to be eclectic and cover a variety of problems. Giddens' work on identity has also attracted interest among sociologists, but a large part has been passed in favor of postmodern and post-structural approaches, especially in the field of cultural studies.
Okay, that's all from my video. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.